fired up.
The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg. It is on its way. It is good! Cincinnati wins the American Championship.
Cincinnati, a 20-point win tonight in Kansas City.
Cincinnati is legit. Welcome to the national scene. Wes Miller and the Cincinnati Bearcats with the win.
And guess what? The Joe Burrow era is just beginning.
Welcome back. It is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation here on your Tuesday night. As always, I am Aaron Smith, joined by my co-hosts, Jeff Howell, and the self-proclaimed best producer in the city, Ed Mayhall. Ed, you good?
Yeah, I posting stuff.
All right. I know you had a rough time with your fence.
I'll talk about that damn fence.
Did a tree fall on your fence, Ed?
No, so
Get it all out, buddy.
we're getting our fence power washed and stained, right?
Okay.
Because it needs that. So I was cleaning I had to get all the ivy and stuff off behind the shed. It is what it is. And they came and power washed it today, and I needed to replace. So on the door where the hinge is, on the bottom hinge, the wood was split. So I took one of the panels off of a corner where nobody's going to see it, because I didn't want to replace that with a fresh piece of wood. Stain's going to look different, right? That's faces the front of the house. So I took a piece of wood off on the back ones, and I was using that to replace it, and everything was going great. And then when I went to go put the gate back on, that's when things didn't go great anymore.
Well, we're happy that Brennix is crying for you. I don't know if you can hear it.
Well, I appreciate that, Brennix. Thank you for your concern.
R.I.P. Ed's fence.
It doesn't help, Jeff. That doesn't help, Jeff. It doesn't help. I saw the private chat.
Man. Jeff, you had some chaos going on in your house. I mean, I'm day 2 of full-time dad.
Yeah, I just got tired kids that, soccer
too.
games, football practice, a daughter that doesn't like to just sit still on the sidelines and watch her brother play. So then we get home and it's bedtime, showers, pick outfits out for school pictures.
But you're still the best braider ever.
I am, that really, I'm working on it. Like, I don't know if anybody's, I didn't put it on Twitter, so probably nobody from here saw it, but
I saw it on the Facebook.
Braided my daughter's hair. I've really been working on it. She'll be 5 next week, or the end of this week, and I've been really working on it. And she was like, "Come on, look it up on YouTube." And I was like, "All right," figured it out, did it. It was halfway decent.
Is it the Baja Blast, Ed?
Oh, yes, sir.
It's fantastic. Better on tap.
I don't have a draft here in the house.
Just saying.
If I did, it might be broken.
Apparently, I'm guessing that's soccer.
Yeah, Greg's an assistant coach for the soccer team at Northwest.
Oh, cool.
All right. Yeah, day 2 of full-time dad down in the books. 22 hours in the last 2 days. Just me and the baby.
Yeah.
Was there what else?
The boys were with dad with dad after school yesterday. Rachel went back to work. And the boys came home today. They were here. I was watching them until 6. They were here about 3 to 6, and then outside of that, it's just been me and baby. So we're making it. She is still alive, and that's key.
Hey, that's about all you got to do. They don't tell you like really a whole lot of instruction, and they're like, "Here, take this life home, and make sure that you do everything to keep it alive." Thanks.
Good luck.
Also, don't forget to write the check to the hospital.
Right.
Take a dog home. To adopt a dog, you have to go through a whole class and a background check. For a baby, they're like, "Here you go."
I didn't have to take a class to adopt a dog.
Well, if you adopt it from a reputable place.
Man, just out here throwing zingers. Yeah.
All right. You ready to? Oh, that's not. Got it. Oh.
It's like Aaron a bit now.
Oh.
Oh, Aaron's kind of a Mount Healthy boy too, though.
I mean, I used to get my hair cut at the barber in Mount Healthy.
You should get Taco Bell in Mount Healthy.
I don't know why he has to dislike Aaron. Ed went to the same high school I did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Ed has a Northwest tattoo on his back.
Well played.
We turned the loop on.
All right.
You're the only one with control, Ed.
I have zero control on this one.
Somebody hacked our stuff.
So the Bengals lost a heartbreaker against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a game that I simply did not anticipate being anywhere near that close.
Shouldn't have been.
And Joe Burrow had maybe his worst game as a Cincinnati Bengal.
It might be his worst game of his entire
Ever?
life. I mean, I didn't really follow a lot of things, but I don't remember him ever having a game that bad.
Before we unpack anything from the game, though, I want to ask you guys this. Do you throw away this whole notion that you don't tackle in preseason and you don't play any of your starters at all in the preseason after what you just saw this past Sunday?
Yeah, after what I saw in the first quarter on this Sunday, I kind of backtrack on my let's not play any of the starters during the preseason statement. I think they definitely, especially for a newer no line that's newer to playing together.
They've never played together, not in a game.
That's true too. I mean, practice or whatever, but yeah, not in a game. But I think they definitely needed a little bit of time out there to get meshed, to get going. I mean, I didn't see anybody. Thought we had a bodyguard that was supposed to be protecting Joe, and that didn't happen.
I would fully agree with what Ed just said. However, I've been yelling it from the mountaintops that I didn't think it was a good idea to not have guys play in the preseason. Just for the fact that knock the rust off. They just played the longest season in NFL history. Then you get this long break off, and I get it. They were like, "Oh, we want to give us." No, these are professional athletes. They need time to get right in the preseason and be ready to go. You can't treat the first game of the season like an extended preseason and say it's okay if we look like crap and lose. I don't agree with that at all. And you had an offensive line that, yes, okay, so maybe some of the sacks were individual guys just getting beat, but they didn't look like when you have a good line and they kind of understand, okay, I'm going to have to shift over on this, or I'm going to have to move over this way. He's going to do this. He does this exceptionally well. He needs help here. You just didn't see that. It looked like dudes playing by themselves, not super sure about what was going on around them. And then you have a rookie that is getting eaten alive by a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it was a shit show.
They're facts.
The rookie played all the preseason. He was going to get eaten alive by a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, no he was.
Here's the thought I had in my head as I was driving around today, Jeff. I guess here's the ultimate question. Is one loss worth being healthy going into week 2 of the regular season? Because that's make no mistake, that is the trade-off. They don't play in the preseason so that they can be healthy for the season.
I think this was worse.
But that's the question you have to ask yourself.
Okay, but that
is
doesn't
a
guarantee
loss worth? But they are.
But that doesn't guarantee that they're going to be healthy just because they didn't play the preseason and they're going to play in the first game and you treat it as an extent. I mean, look at TJ Watt, right? I mean, he got a little dinged.
But that's where they're at.
Okay, so they are, but they're also 0-1.
Chad disagrees. And it's not necessarily I do think that they should have played the offensive line, at least Kappa, Karras, Jonah, like that. Maybe Collins, because he was still coming back, you don't. But you play those 4 guys, at least, like, what would it hurt to play them a quarter of a preseason game or 2 preseason games and get them out? But the whole reason that teams, and guess who started this, Jeff? Guess who started this we don't play in the preseason thing?
Steelers?
You're probably going to tell me it's the Steelers.
Rob Gronkowski.
The New England Patriots.
Tom Brady.
The New England Patriots started this. We don't play our ones in the preseason. And you know what? At the end of every year, they were the healthiest team. They were the best team. And they were ripping off AFC championships and Super Bowls.
But how often were they putting together an entirely new offensive line? So my argument
I agree
here
with you that I think they should have played the offensive line at some point. Like, I think you should have gotten them out there a quarter in the second game, a quarter in the third game. That way they at least had some, like, live communication. But the whole point of not playing guys in the preseason is to maximize health in a sport where health dictates championships.
You're right. And if you play, but I'm not saying that you play them all 3 preseason games for the entire game. I'm saying you got to get these guys some reps at game speed so that they're ready when the season starts. Otherwise, if you're rolling the dice and hoping like, okay, we're going to
Joe Burrow goes down in the first quarter of the Rams game, and he's out for 4 weeks.
Okay, he goes down in the first quarter of the Steelers game, and he's out for 4 weeks. Like now,
one of those games counts.
Okay, and it still ends up being a loss.
One of those games counts.
The city would have eaten Zach Taylor alive.
But I don't think Joe Burrow needed to play in the preseason because he had surgery, and so he's going to be like he's probably still recovering.
He clearly needed
it's like appendectomy. Like
he was not sharp. He turned it over 5 times.
I mean, I see your argument, and I hear that argument, but I also say like I mean you can get injured. You can
have. I mean, I have played better quarterback than that.
You
before.
still end up with the same consequences getting injured in a preseason game as
averages,
you do.
Jeff, it's law of like you eliminate the opportunity to get hurt in a preseason game if you don't play in the preseason game. Your odds of getting hurt in a preseason game are 0.0 if you don't play in that game.
Nick, there's only 3 preseason games now with the 17 game schedule, so it would have only been games 2 and 3.
That's all. I'm not that far off from your stance, Jeff, because I do think the offensive line should have played. But my point is, and there was I can't remember who it was. There was a former coach that talked about this a lot today. The way that the NFL's going, September is the new August. Teams and the Patriots did this. Remember how many years the Patriots would be 1-2 or 2-2 to start the season?
Well, I guess the problem is it was against a division rival, right? Because
you don't want to give that game away, but like
it's a big game.
It's a 17-game stretch. In the grand scheme of things, maybe it does come back to bite their ass. 18 weeks from now. That's completely possible. But the entire philosophy of not playing guys in the preseason is so that you go into game 1 healthy.
Yeah. I get it. I just want to bring that up before we broke down any of the game and get everybody's opinion around the horn on it. But just wanting to see everybody's take on it. Me personally, I mean, I'm pretty much in line with Jeff. I don't know. Even if Burrow goes out a drive, you don't have to leave him out there longer than a drive, but just to get reacclimated to game speed, which is totally different than practice speed.
And we talked about that with the Bearcats too, as far as like game speed getting kind of acclimated together.
Yeah, I mean, look at how different Cincinnati looked in game 2. Now, granted, Kennesaw State is not Arkansas, but Arkansas even looked better in game 2.
Next segment, Aaron.
I know. I'm just saying. It's correlated to the Bengals, though. I mean,
it is fair.
as you're talking about getting back up to game speed, like
Absolutely.
those are two teams that played the hell out of each other, and they both played better in week 2. So, in any case, Joe Burrow, 5 turnovers, 4 picks, 1 fumble. I wouldn't have guessed he threw more than 2 picks in this game, much less 4, and a fumble.
Yeah.
The offensive line clearly struggled, as we've kind of hit on already. As
They got good grades though, which is like,
if you throw away the 7 sacks that they gave up.
and they're well, like PFF is only like hitting them with 4 sacks.
ESPN posted at halftime, Joe Burrow becomes the first QB to throw 3 interceptions, gets sacked 4 times in a single half since Devlin Hodges in 2019.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who Devlin Hodges played for.
Exactly.
Maybe it was one of the Browns quarterbacks at some point. They've had a lot of them.
Fair.
Or is that for the Steelers, Duck Hodges? Isn't that what he went by? Duck?
I don't know.
I don't
Something
either.
Ed could probably find here pretty quick.
We'll wait.
Yeah, he played. Yeah. It was Pittsburgh in
Was it
2019.
Pittsburgh? All right.
Yeah.
Duck, old Duck Hodges.
What's this, like a 1935 baseball team?
I don't know, man. They called him Duck,
Oh, you called him Duck because he's a big duck hunter.
which is not what you want to be called when you're a quarterback.
He's
That's
also like a champion duck caller or something like that.
It's like naming a pitcher Homer. Weird. But this line was terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous. The Steelers were doing Steelers things throughout the game, which we're well accustomed to. The picture circulating around the old Twitter today with Jamar Chase going double middle fingers.
I don't like that. Why are we so like everybody's like, oh, I love this. Why do we love this? We lost. Like,
Going-
that picture should never have seen the light of day.
I haven't seen it.
Double middle fingers to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah might be the best and dirtiest player on the Pittsburgh Steelers at this time.
Who was it that did the double birds?
It's Jamar. Like,
Jamar.
Oh.
and I don't even know at what point in the game that was. Like, I don't know if it was like after his touchdown or if it was after Minka's like pick 6. I don't know.
Or the touchdown that was called back on Jamar Chase.
But like that picture should have never seen the light of day because everybody's like rallying behind this. Like, we lost. We lost. Let's not get excited about, double middle fingers on a loss.
Sure,
I'm kind of excited about it.
Sure, you like the passion, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm indifferent to the picture. I just thought it was funny more than anything. You don't often see double middle fingers. I'm sure he'll get fined for that as the picture comes out. It didn't even circulate until today, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it. I think it was Emily. It's like Emily Chin photos on Instagram. Emily Chin photography, maybe.
Maybe. What were your takeaways though? Ed, you answered the first question, so I'll throw it to you, Jeff, first. What were your takeaways as you watched the Bengals on Sunday?
How important is the long snapping position?
Man, who saw that coming?
I mean, that just sucks. Like, Clark Harris is a great dude. Like,
He was coming at people on Twitter too after
and
the game.
he should have been. And I posted on Twitter. I said, if any people are like making like, how did a long snapper get hurt? And he was coming back at him like, yeah, it's real funny to like laugh about an injury. And I said, if you want to laugh about it,
get hurt. It's the same.
As soon as because I don't know if people understand or not, like that a long snapper is typically the first guy down the field on punting. They get down there to cover these things, and they make tackles. Like, my brother was a long snapper. Like, he was always down the field. Like, you get injured in the game of football. I don't care if you're a kicker, if you're a lineman, if you're a running back. I mean, obviously there are positions that are more prone to getting injured because they're involved in more plays during the game. Yep. But like, anybody can get hurt. And it sounds like he popped his bicep, which is horrendous. Like, if you've seen anybody that pops a bicep, like,
It's a
not
grotesque injury. Torn pec might be grosser.
No.
Congrats to you, Mr. Watt, on earning a little karma. But
Well, we had that, and then like for as awful as they played, they were still in the game and had chances to win. Obviously, there was a comedy of errors of things and horrible, whatever you want to call it, that came together to make sure that the Bengals didn't get the win. People can say they didn't deserve to win, whatever. They were in it. They still had a shot. I mean, Jamar Chase still had a touchdown, like 129 yards receiving, I believe it was. So like they were still doing some good things. I would like this. I saw a stat that they were like, that they took like 18 snaps under center, and 16 of those 18 they were run plays. Like maybe let's liven some things up on the offensive side when you literally
show some
have
different
like,
schemes. What are we doing?
Like you've got, it's like a kid on Christmas that gets like every toy that they could ever want, and the Bengals have that offensively.
Yes.
I mean, all the way down to Hayden Hurst. Like
That
I
toe
love,
tap?
dude. And then the blown kid, like, let's not circulate the video of it because we lost. But I like the passion in the moment. I liked his ability to adjust to the ball, catch it, and get 3 feet down.
It was unbelievable body control.
And I believe this podcast was super high on Hayden Hurst when we got him. And from the first game, I'm liking it. And I think we were right.
CJ Uzama can't make that play.
No.
No shot. He can make that play.
There's a
No way.
shot.
Are you saying there's a shot he can make that play? Is that what you're saying?
No, I said there's a shot at him. There you go.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like, man, there's a shot.
Ed, what were your takeaways when you watched the game?
I think I kind of said them at the beginning. Like the offensive line was just not gelled. I thought the defense played decently. I mean, like I said, they kept us in the game. Apparently, we need a backup long snapper. But I mean, that game was just. I honestly thought nobody was going to win that game. I thought that was going to end in a tie in the way that probably should have been the way that it did, and it wasn't a tie. But I mean, you got McPherson, who comes out and kicks a 59-yard franchise record, and then misses an extra point, and it. I don't know. I was just flabbergasted the whole time.
I'd agree.
Did you guys see when you talk about that? Like, did you guys see the Pat McAfee discussion on the long snapping on the field goal?
I heard a little bit of it. He was talking about how the bladder and where the stitches are and all that kind of stuff.
So he was talking about that was the extra or the field goal in overtime where it was
Laces were in.
It was a high snap. Huber got it up here. He brings it down. He's like, most people, like if the snap comes back and it's placed incorrectly, sometimes the kicker can see that in time, adjust the way they're going to kick because it's going to come off to the left if they're a right-footed kicker, just because of the ball being softer on the side with the laces and it wraps around the foot a little more. So like if you're familiar with golf, you catch the ball and keep it on the club face too long and rip it to the left. But with it being such a high snap and Huber bringing it down, and like there was no time for McPherson to adjust anything, so that one was going to be bad. And then,
well, speaking about that kick though, I love how the people on social media who were like, "Why can't you kick the side with the laces? Like, why is it any different? Whatever." Like,
it's complete. There's a big hole there. Like,
there was an entire the whole premise of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective had everything to do with the laces not being out.
Right.
A poor old lady wished Dan Marino gonorrhea and rotting in hell because the laces were not out.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
I mean,
that's 100% true.
Very important, clearly.
But then, like, everybody gets so worked up over it, and then you got like Pat McAfee, who everybody. I mean, the dude knows his stuff, obviously, and so like listen to it. It's like a 3.5 minute little segment. He goes over why kicking the laces is. I summarized it very briefly there, but he explains why. It doesn't work, and that they have to make an adjustment there. The other thing is, like, if he brought up the fact that if you watch point afters and field goals, there's a lot of times where it is real close that somebody's going to get to the ball to block it, right?
Yeah.
And the snap on that one wasn't a bad snap. It was just slower than what Clark Harris usually does. And granted, it's a
16-year veteran Clark Harris,
right? And granted, you're talking about a backup tight end who snaps as a hobby, essentially, right? Like,
Not
so
anymore.
like
I guarantee you, he's working on that all the time now.
Oh yeah,
just in case.
Like when I watched it, like normally, I've kind of played it back in my head. Normally, whenever there's like a point after, right? You don't even see the ball get snapped. It's just like it's in the holder's hands and it's down and up and away.
Mm.
When it happened on Sunday, it was like you could see the ball like going back in slow motion. I was like, man, this is not good. And then true enough, Drew Sample whiffed on his block on the left side of the line.
Sure.
I mean, if he bumps him, because Minka only got like fingertips, because the ball still went forward. It wasn't like a full block. Like, he didn't catch it in the palm of his hand.
Minka had a career day.
He did.
A career day.
Good for him. I think he was like the defensive player of the week or something.
Should have been.
I mean,
he also did his damnedest to take Tyler Boyd out, a la in a play that very closely resembled one Vontez Burfict and Antonio Brown.
And then it was like the very next play where he appeared to be headhunting on Mike Thomas, and he got gator arms in the back of the end zone on that pass, which he's probably thinking like he's about to drill me with the top of his helmet right here in the back of the end zone. Like,
but remember, Ben
Personal
Roethlisberger
safety.
said the Bengals play dirty. He was so scared to play us.
T. Higgins also got headhunted, knocked him out of the game as three players converged on him at once in what appeared everyone leading with their helmet.
Except for the guy that was tackling him from behind. Because he didn't have a good angle to spear him in the head.
Mixon did the best he could behind a subpar line.
A shaky line performance.
I think you can say that this. I'm not saying that the line as a whole is going to continue to be subpar, but it was a subpar performance, top to bottom, all day long.
Fair.
Whatever PFF says, they can PFF right off.
Ooh,
That was good.
You're welcome.
That was good.
I know what I saw though. It wasn't at no point in time did I feel comfortable with this line.
Yeah, it was I don't know, like they seemed to maybe it was just like because some things that were happening in the second half, like they seemed to start to kind of figure it out in the second half a bit. But at that point we were kind of like, obviously
Playing from behind the eight ball.
yeah. And I think maybe some of the things with Joe Burrow is like some of his sacks, like I saw something about like the amount of time, like he was given like, I think the sack number, like percentage or seconds from snap to sack were like, 3.5 seconds, 4, something like that. It was like the average time of his sack.
Right.
And I think he tends to sometimes hold on to the ball a little longer because he likes to, he wants to make that play, get that, squeeze every last opportunity out of every play. Sometimes to the detriment, I think. And then he started, I think, pushing, like trying a little too much, and it caused some issues. But like, we're still in the game.
Well,
I think that's what makes it, like, if we got blown out, like I think I would almost be a little more like not okay with it, but like it wouldn't sit as like
Wouldn't be as bad.
as sour in my mouth as this does. Like,
I think that's kind of the silver lining in this game, though. If you're trying to be glass half full, right?
Yeah.
Is everything went wrong. Literally, everything went wrong. You lost, arguably, some people argue that he's their best receiver, T. Higgins. You lost
you
him.
can make that argument.
You lost him in the second quarter. I think he'll have better stats by the end of the season because Jamar Chase is going to get double covered. But that aside, you were still in it until the very end. Even with everything going wrong that could possibly go wrong. I don't think we'll see another day like this again from Joe Burrow. I know that it was well documented that he sat at his locker still in game uniform after everyone had showered and media was leaving and all of that. I also saw some people saying that was a little look at me. And I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think, but that's Joe though, right? Like,
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I just think
He doesn't know how to lose.
that
You go from Athens, where you won all over the place, to Ohio State, where you won all over the place. You had a down year, Joe's first year at LSU, and then you had maybe the best collegiate team in history offensively. And here in Cincinnati, obviously he's lost. His first season was not great. Even before he was knocked out. It's I don't know. I don't know that he was look at me. I don't think he is that guy per se. I mean, he's a guy who will wear pajama pants to the plane, like not in like a flashy outfit. He's wearing like SpongeBob.
he has had
thing.
some pretty sweet, flashy outfits. though.
Sure, he's had some, but he's also been a guy to show up in pajama pants and a t-shirt. So I don't know.
I wanted to roll back here to Nick's question about the new long snapper. Apparently, he was the top long snapper in the country last year, and Darren Simmons said that he held up pretty well against Clark Harris head to head in camp and preseason. But 13 years without an unplayable snap was a little bit too much to pass up. As far as giving the job to Harris out of preseason, so it sounds like he's got a lot of high praise. He's not being thrown into the fire. They didn't go grab somebody off somebody else's practice squad that they don't really know about. This is a guy that's been here from the beginning of camp and preseason. He snapped in all the preseason games, which I didn't know. So hopefully we don't really see much of a drop off. I mean, it's something that showed how important it is this past weekend, because we win that game if Clark Harris doesn't get hurt.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Solely on the fact that like you're not even worried about this point after attempt.
And then all you're talking about is how poorly they played and still found a way to win.
Right.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, some things kind of fell apart here and there at the end, and
I want to talk about the defense a little bit. Defensive line, Hendrickson was all over the place, which good to see. Hubbard, same thing. They damn near had that safety in, I think, the third quarter.
yeah.
How far does it have to be from a receiver to be intentional grounding? I get it. There was a receiver over there.
Yeah, I mean that.
I feel like it was a good 8 to 10 yards away, though.
To me, though, I mean that was almost like a in the grasp kind of like flailing of a ball out somewhere.
And there just happened to be a receiver there.
Yeah,
because
I don't know what like the specific letter of the law or whatever is before you say like no, like I don't know, and I don't know how they. I mean, does it have to be a catchable pass that's thrown? Because like
I don't know.
Like, you take into the fact that like Pat Fryer, like he's not going to get back to that ball like as much as he tries. Like he's not. That was just it was upsetting.
It was, but the defensive line played well. DJ Reader getting in there. There didn't seem to be anything missing from the defensive line. Middle linebackers, I felt like were all over the place as well. I feel like every other play, you'd either see Logan Wilson in on part of an assisted tackle, or Pratt breaking something up. Both of those guys all over the field.
Logan Wilson, 8 tackles, 6 solo. Jermaine Pratt, 8 tackles, 4 solo.
There it is. Nailed it.
Mike Hilton had 8 tackles. All of them were solo, and 1 quarterback hit.
You'll see some of that
when he came in off the side like
yes,
a
he did.
missile. Yeah, I'd like to see a lot of that get worked in this year too.
I don't think there was a single sighting. I don't recall anyway seeing Dex out there.
He doesn't show up on the stat sheet, so I don't know that.
I don't know if he saw any snaps as they're talking about. Yeah, we're going to integrate him in. We got some great packages for him. Apparently not against Pittsburgh, even though he played more than Jesse Bates in the preseason.
Can we also talk about something real quick that I just I just saw, and this is off the defense topic, but I just was thinking about it. What is this? I didn't know this rule that you can't advance a fumble unless you recover your own fumble inside 2 minutes. What is I don't understand the point behind that.
I was literally I heard the rule as they were talking about it on. I don't think that even the announcers knew about that rule as they were talking about. P. Ryan may have saved the game.
Yeah, and
then old Salvatore came in and was like, "No, this is what the actual rule is." And
I thought there was the rule about fumbling forward, you can't fumble it forward and then recover it and get the yards or whatever. There's some weird fumbling forward thing, but I did not know anything about this. You can't fumble, have somebody else recover it inside 2 minutes.
And I'm sure it's to try and make sure that you don't have somebody running and instead of lateraling it forward, they fumble it forward.
Well, he fumbled. I mean, he got hit and fumbled it backwards. Right?
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how if the Steelers get that ball, they can advance it. If I guess
manages to retrieve his own fumble, what are
then he can be the one to advance it, but no one else can advance it.
Right.
It's a weird rule that maybe needs to be looked at in the offseason already.
I didn't understand it. I didn't get. I mean, there was a heads up play by Samaje to not just fall on it, to pick it up and try to get the yards back. Imagine if he had picked that up and nobody was over there and he ran that in for a touchdown. Well, then they're like, no, go back to the 50. It's
On the flip side of that coin, though, imagine if he's trying to pick that up to advance it, not knowing the rule as it currently stands, and he's not getting his hands on it. But we maybe never know about this rule as it is, because I don't know that the announcers would have even talked about it. Well, he couldn't have advanced it anyway. And
by no means am I putting the loss on this silly rule. I'm just saying
no.
I think it's a silly rule.
It just I'm with you as far as in the moment. I'm trying to understand in my head why would this rule be specific to it has to be the guy who fumbles the ball,
and it's only inside 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a strange thing.
I didn't understand. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody smarter than us that's out there that knows the ins and outs. But I literally was running through scenarios with people why would and we couldn't come up with a reason why you would want to fumble. I mean, why it matters inside 2 minutes. That's the other thing, because it doesn't matter the rest of the game. He takes a sack fumble with 2 minutes and 1 second, and P. Ryan can pick it up and advance it, but under 2 minutes, all of a sudden now he can't.
Well, I'm obviously with you in regards to the fumble, because none of it made any sense to me. I also don't understand how Jamar Chase crosses the plane and you don't call a touch. Always err on the player's side, right? Call it a touchdown. If it's not a touchdown, then you can review it. You can't review it this way without burning a timeout.
Right. Then because if he calls it a touchdown, then it goes for review and automatically.
Correct.
Otherwise, but then you got to also talk about and Zach Taylor, he's always taken ownership when he screws something up in a game, and he said he screwed it up, that he shouldn't have rushed them back up, shouldn't have told him to hurry this up. Like, let's get this play in and run another play.
Run another run play that lost 3 yards.
He should have, hey, slow down. That's, that they didn't even give time for their own guys in the box to be like, maybe we throw the red flag on this one. Maybe throw the red flag on this one. Like, you've got all kinds of time. Like, let's let it kind of play out for a second here. If you're just going to do another run play anyway, let's, you're not like catching them off guard. That's for sure.
Didn't at all the entire game.
I mean, TJ Watt, the one play almost took the handoff from Joe Burrow.
Almost. Well,
because he knew what he was doing.
You have any other thoughts on this game, Ed?
I don't. I'd like to put it behind us and look forward to next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think they're going to be all right. You got 16 more games. It's not like NCAA where a loss like this beginning of the season. Guess we're moving on.
We're not even at 50 minutes.
Ed was over it.
I guess.
All right. And the other game that was this weekend went a little bit better for us Cincinnati fans.
A lot better for us Cincinnati fans.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit, Ed? What are your thoughts on that game?
Also, because
do you know what game I'm talking about?
We're talking about the Bengals or the Bearcats game. Yes.
6-0.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that part. I was changing the timer. You're talking about FC Cincinnati. Yes, they beat
FC Mid-Cincinnati.
Whatever. They beat that other team whose name I can't think of right now, 6-0. I mean, what do you want me to say? They're better than the Reds.
I don't know, Ed. I mean, I just thought maybe you were real quick to start shooting out text messages. I don't even know what day that was after the game was over.
I'm also not sure that they are better than the Reds. The Reds have won more games.
A lot more games. That's where you say the Reds have also lost a lot more games, Ed. But you missed the opportunity there.
No. I knew it.
They also haven't tied as many games.
That's true. And Ed is over that one now. All right, now we can talk about Cincinnati, Kennesaw State, Ed.
Go ahead and talk about it.
All right. Aaron, this was the home opener at the NIP, and you were there, right?
It was. It was up in the box.
Did you make your way down to field level at any point?
I did. I got down during the fourth quarter, like I usually do.
Did you check out the suites?
I did. I know your boy Dave was in the suites.
Didn't even get an invite, Dave.
You were probably busy working.
I was. Fair.
But they were okay. The TVs weren't working yet. They did have popcorn provided. And I believe you could order food and drinks and it would be brought down to you. You didn't actually have to go and wait in line, which is a nice perk, with the money that those suites cost, it should be that way. If I'm being completely honest on that, there should probably honestly be some extra perks when you're dropping from what I understand, somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 per game for those. And I want to say the bottom line was actually $3,000 to up to $5,000, depending on the size of the suite. So
that's wild.
I think Dave said they were like, one of them's like a 25 person deal. One's like 20 or 15. The other one's like 10 on the other. I don't know if there's only 3 or if that's just like the kind of the breakdown of the different sizes. I know there's not a lot of them down there. It's
correct.
Just that.
There's like 7, 8, 9 of them, something like that. And it's going to continue to evolve. As of right now, you have roughly about 4 5-foot awning in the back of them to protect you from elements, which as we progress into the season, I don't know that that's going to work. if there's a rain game, if there's a snow game, I wouldn't want to be back there with 24 other people huddled against a wall in not a ton of space. So I think they may need to work on potentially getting. Again, you're spending a lot of money for these suites, so I would think that maybe like a tarp over the top at the very least.
I would imagine that maybe by next year, probably like after the season's over,
It's
I
going
kinda
to
feel
continue
like,
to evolve.
I kind of feel like this was something because like I hadn't even heard anything about these being done until I think Chad maybe put out a tweet or something where they were kind of like starting to build them, and I would think that they would maybe enclose them like kind of permanently with like an actual structure as opposed to aren't they just like steel like
Yeah, they're just open air steel cages essentially.
they're not really suites. It's just more of an area for people to gather on the field, to have field level
Right.
access.
Well, and I know Dallas had a setup. I'd never made it to them on the field when I was down in Dallas for the Cotton Bowl. But they do have a similar setup there. Some schools do. So that's something that obviously they wanted to try and figure out. They're trying to expand seating in ways that they can that makes more sense financially. If you keep building up, you're just building up to cheaper seats.
Yeah.
Who's that really helping with the money that you expend on a project like that? I don't know that you're going to do that for $60, $70, $80 tickets compared to this.
Well, that and it kind of you want to kind of keep the aura of Nippert, and if you start expanding up and out and changing the way things look, I mean, kind of the cool features of being at Nippert are, you know, being able to see some of like the campus from inside and that kind of thing. So no, I get it. And it seems like, I mean, from what Dave was saying, like everybody that was there enjoyed the experience and the different view of the field. Yeah. I don't know that I'm really like a big fan of that, but I guess with the TVs in there when they're running and you can actually, you know, watch whatever the TV angle is. I mean, I think it would be kind of neat if they had like different angles that got like piped direct, like CCTV kind of thing. Like, I don't know, it might be too difficult to do something like that, but
I think they should get space heaters in there, like the outdoor heaters of some sort for during the winter games.
Yeah, because it would be cold.
Mm-hmm.
Were there was there anywhere to sit in there, or were they all just standing room?
No, there was like, I feel like there was like high top tables and stools and such. So about as comfortable as the bleachers. If you're being, all things being, you know, even there.
Unless you pay extra for the little cushion seats.
Maybe. I don't know. So maybe they're going to work on getting some better seating in there. I don't know that you're there to sit really though.
Yeah, no,
either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Cincinnati beat the brakes off of Kennesaw State, 63-10. Everybody got to play. It seems there was a JQ sighting. We saw both quarterbacks plus Brady Lichtenberg play. You saw several. I mean, Miles Montgomery broke a huge one. Corey Kiner got plenty of time. The defensive line rotated about 7 deep. Even Ryan Mullaney, walk on, got some playing time there on the defensive line, especially after Malik Vann went down. So, you know, Fickle kind of got his answer as far as the defensive line depth and getting to see what you had. Dante Corleone looked fantastic. Eric Phillips made a ton of plays. Briggs continues to be Briggs.
Ivan Pace.
Jabari Taylor got a touchdown.
I know I'm moving off the line there, but Ivan Pace. Jabari Taylor, the windmill run afterwards. And I know, like, you guys, if anybody has seen it on the BCJ thing, they posted the kind of the post-game interviews or whatever, and he was like, I looked up and I'm like on the wrong side, and then I realized, like, oh wait, I got to go back in because we just scored, so the defense is going back out.
So he literally in the post-game presser said, I was tired as hell.
but yeah, that, and then Javon Hicks with the pick six.
Cole Rain finally getting in the end zone.
Yeah. I I never really kind of put that together, but I guess all the other quarterback guys when they got picks were getting stopped on like the 2, the 3.
Well, Deshaun got stopped a couple times at the 3. Deshaun had a good bounce back game himself.
Yeah,
had the field goal block, which just another tip of the cap to this team that loves blocking kicks.
On a side note, on the block, I will. There was a lineman, and I don't know who he was, but somebody came in and like was like ripping at Ivan to try to pull him out of the pile, and so Ivan came out ready to go, and one of our linemen literally grabbed him and lifted him and just put him on his back and was like, "Nah, like we don't need to pick up a stupid penalty here. Like, let's go." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, all right." Like, good leadership out there. Quality guys.
Ed, did you see anything in the game this weekend that you wanted to touch on?
I made the mistake of watching the game. I watched the first half at home. You know, and I made a mistake of watching the second half at a brewery. You don't watch crap when you're at a brewery, like when people are talking to you and stuff. So I really didn't catch. I was watching it like the screen was there and I was watching it, but I really didn't catch much. I just thought, you know, they recovered very well from the mistakes they made in the first quarter or first half, first quarter, whatever. And the first drive, they recovered from those very well. And I still don't understand why people are still calling for Prater to be the quarterback after the performance that Ben put up the other day.
I mean, Ben only missed 3 passes. He had something like 205 yards, I think, something like that. Yeah. But Prater only missed 1 pass, and he scored it on his legs, which is
the nice thing about Prater, because we saw last week when Ben made that run, and all of a sudden that defenseman came right at him, and he's just like stopped in his feet, like he didn't know what to do. He's like, "I'm gonna turn around and go back to the other end zone." Sort of thing.
It also took the whole offensive line against Arkansas pushing Ben to get that 2 yards, 3 yards, whatever it was.
Prater looked good though. I mean, like, here's the thing. We'll keep going back to it. Is whatever Luke Fickell and his coaching staff decide is what we're gonna roll with. And
there's also something to be said for experience.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: is like Fickell brought it up though, and put like he wanted to get those guys in, and he didn't want it to be a situation where they're just handing the ball off. It's nice to see what you got in a guy in game speed, which we keep bringing up game speed because it's different. So it's nice to have seen Prater out there. Yeah, it's Kennesaw State. Yeah, I don't know if they
threw it on the run.
The pass that he made, I think it was like a 22, 23-yard pass.
To Shaman?
No, not that one. He was rolling to his right and threw a dart, an absolute dart on the run. And
Chris Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was really pretty.
Cincinnati does play Miami this week. It is rivalry week. It is a rivalry that currently is tied at 59 wins apiece. It is a rivalry that Cincinnati has won, I believe, 15 in a row. It is a rivalry that has become a bit of a joke at this point to Cincinnati fans. It is not a joke to one Luke Fickell, who takes rivalries very serious and said as much in his post-game presser today.
There are 7 ties in the series as well for soccer fans like Ed.
It's nice.
So
I did the research on that. Way to go, Jeff.
I want to ask, first and foremost, does this rivalry mean anything to either of you? And the follow-up question to that is this a rivalry that should continue? As that's been a hot topic for the last several years, and we'll readdress it this year as we do, I think, every year for like the last 3 years, 4 years.
I hate the fact that the Bearcats have kind of, like the Louisville rivalry. I mean, they're not good this year anyway, recently, but like it doesn't have that.
They beat UCF.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't have that. Did you get to that in your AAC recap?
Louisville last week, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate you.
It just doesn't have the same, like, I don't know, feeling because they aren't. I mean, they're not.
Je ne sais quoi.
They're not on our level. They aren't.
No, and they knew it
and
last year when they didn't play their starters.
I'm on a new level.
I mean, look, we're playing them at Paul Brown Stadium. I hate playing games in NFL stadiums. I think it's stupid. I know that was part of like a contract back and forth so that we don't have to go to Oxford, whatever.
Can't take recruits, even though it's not at Miami. It's still a home game.
Yeah, we're down to this silliness where they're going to be like, you can't bring recruits. Like
the press has to pay $20 to park at the stadium.
Here's the thing, Luke Fickell is going. I think he like when you listen to like I saw some of the quotes that Justin put out from the thing where he was like, look, like, yeah, this breaks the tie. And then he's like, you know, they won't even let us bring. We reached out and asked, but I think we were denied on that, like we were the last time we played there, meaning to bring recruits.
Luke also called out Mike Bone and said that Miami got the better negotiation on this entire deal, and said that whoever the previous athletic director was who negotiated this deal did Cincinnati a little dirty and must have just been ready to sign anything, or something close to that anyway. That's me paraphrasing, of course. And essentially said that it's just he doesn't know why we didn't get why Miami's getting 2 home games in a row as they get Paul Brown or Paycor this year, and then I believe it's back in Miami next year. Or no, maybe it was Paycor 2 years in a row.
It's
whatever the case may be.
This year we're at Paycor. Next year is here at UC at Nippert, and then it's back to Miami in 24. 25 is at UC. Then it's back to Paul Brown or Paycor, whatever you want to call it, in 26. But UC will be the home team, so we'll get 2 home games.
That's what it was then. It was 2 home games in a row for Miami.
For UC.
No, at Paycor. They got 2 Paycor games in a row. Miami did as the home team.
Oh yeah, the last one that was at
which
Paycor,
is why they aren't allowed to bring the recruits this year.
Yeah.
But Fickell also said rivalries mean everything to him as a traditionalist, as a guy who likes rivalries, and coming from Ohio State, of course he likes rivalries. They have real rivalries up there.
Yeah. And so we're gonna beat the brakes off of them this weekend, and
they're still very mad about Ivan Pace coming to Cincinnati.
I missed that. I know that I was looking it up and then we started, so I couldn't watch it. But you brought up a Keith Jenkins put up a video.
It was a video posted by Keith Jenkins that I saw from Miami's presser yesterday, I believe, where their head coach is just like, look, he wasn't recruited by Cincinnati. He was waiting for a Power 5 offer. We offered him very early, and we wanted him. We thought that he could have gone to Ohio State, but he went to Miami, and he showed out at Miami, and then he was good enough to play for Cincinnati and go be with his brother and all of that. So of course, they would still love him to still be at Miami, but very bitter that Ivan decided to go play with Deshaun and the Bearcats.
Ivan tweeted last week, finally on the right side at Nippert.
Well, and let's be honest, as a collegiate kid, who's going to give you the better opportunity to go pro? Miami or Cincinnati? I get it. Ben Roethlisberger from Miami, and Miami's had a handful of guys over the course of the last 15 years.
There were 9 that came from UC last year.
Just last year. 9 drafted. Right. 11 guys that were in camp, I believe. Yeah. 11 or 12.
You got to look at it that way. He reached the top of what he could do at Miami. He was Defensive Player of the Year in the MAC.
Yeah.
And the way that the landscape is set up, it's set up perfectly for that.
The knock on him would have continued to be, you haven't done it anywhere that was worth a damn.
Right.
You did it in the MAC.
So he got to the tippy top, and he's still on his way up. You know what I mean? And so now he's at UC, and he's in the first couple games here shown that it wasn't just because he was in the MAC that he was the Defensive Player of the Year. Like, he is playing very well, and I hope that he continues to do that and has a fantastic game this weekend against Miami.
Yes, I concur.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think probably looking for there to be some more opportunities for kind of the backup guys, the second string guys, the third string guys. You know, maybe some walk-ons. I don't know if they can grab some. You know, that's probably why they're not letting recruits come, because they might suit them up and send them out at some point in the game just to see what they got in them, a little test run. That's how little faith I have in Miami putting up anything that resembles a fight.
Do you think it should continue to be a rivalry?
Luke says it should, so I say it should.
Ed?
I mean,
You're only going to have 3 out of conference games once you join the Big 12.
Maybe it's our FCS style game.
You say no, Ed?
What benefit does it give us besides, hey, you played the little sister school up north? Like,
because there's a lot of tradition in it. It's not a far travel for the team, so they can still stay in their own bed despite wherever the game is. And I don't know. I mean, again, kind of to Jeff's point, like if you're going to play, everybody plays an FCS school. Maybe you don't have to actually play an FCS school. You just continue to play a rivalry game and just have that be a game that you know you're going to win.
A MAC game. I like it. I mean, then you don't, you're not running, out there and putting up. Hello, Chad.
Hi, boys. So John Cunningham has made it clear that with the path going forward of 9 conference games, they want an FCS opponent, a MAC level G5 opponent, and a Power 5 opponent in their non-conference schedule.
Don't schedule the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
No. You're dumb to do anything other than the easy choice, which is Miami. You're better than them every year. It's a win. I don't think people realize what playing in the Big 12 is going to essentially mean for your win-loss record and the narrow margin of error on how many wins you have, how that impacts your bowl game, how that impacts your revenue. You schedule an FCS team, you schedule Miami, you schedule a Power 5 opponent. At worst, you go 2-1. You go into the Big 12. You see where the chips fall. But is there really much difference if you schedule Toledo or Akron or Bowling Green? Like, there's already a rivalry with Miami.
Yeah.
There's already one of the most storied rivalries in the history of college football with Miami. That just pieced out.
I don't know where he went. That just means he can't blow us up.
But like, I just think it makes sense if that's what the athletic department is looking for. FCS, mid-level G5, Power 5, then continuing the series with Miami is what makes the most sense.
Ed looked like he was going to sneeze.
So he just left.
Am I my brother's keeper?
He might have clicked out instead of hitting the mute button.
Sure.
Perhaps.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And like when you look at it, like, I mean, when you go into the Big 12 and you got to be able to keep those wins up, and yeah, they're expanding to 12 teams. So like maybe you have a little bit more of a buffer, but not a huge one. So
think about it like this. In that league, there's a decent chance UCF is like your West Virginia is the worst team you play. Right?
Yeah.
If you're playing Oklahoma State and Baylor and, Kansas State's got a really good
Kansas.
team this year. And,
Kansas.
but there's no guarantee you're going to play Kansas.
We want Kansas.
Sure.
I don't know. They're playing pretty well.
Leopold, he ain't going to be there long. He might not be there when UC gets to the Big 12.
Nope, they're going to hire Scott Frost.
Right? I'm just saying, like, I think the comfort of knowing what you get with Miami, the rivalry, I just don't know that you, and I've been a proponent previously. When they were in the American, I didn't care. Like, whatever. But now that you're going into the Big 12, I think it makes a lot more sense to just
keep it.
Keep things as they are, get into a situation where you kind of control and dictate the contract, where the games are played. You're not going to Miami all that frequently. You know, it makes sense.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I thought this was Chad disagrees.
Well, sorry, you didn't get a disagree this time.
Damn it. Try again next time.
Right.
Get me out of here
next time. I don't even know if Ed can. Oh, yep, he can. But yeah, but that makes sense.
Sorry, this thing is coming. I swear it is.
The sneeze?
Yeah.
Told you it was a sneeze.
Oh man. But yeah, nope. That's what you got to do if that's the scheduling thing that Cunningham has put out there, that he wants to go FCS MAC level Power 5. Why not at least keep some semblance of the rivalry of yesteryear? I didn't realize we hadn't led the series since 1915.
1915,
which is crazy. So let's get it back and then never allow them to come close to taking over the lead in that ever again.
Near that lead.
And let's keep it at 7 ties. I don't ever want to be around. Hopefully we're all gone by the time there's another tie with Miami to add to that list.
Like dead?
I mean, maybe just gone out of this space, retired. You know, maybe the next part in the punctuation group is calling us back for like alumni cameos.
That's funny.
So, I guess we're not getting blown up here, and I don't have a whole lot left on the Cincinnati-Miami rivalry. So, you want to move on? Ed's gone, but not forgotten.
So that moves us on to MLB rule changes that happened this week, because try as we might, I don't think there's anything that we can do to talk about the Reds. I have not watched a game, a minute. I don't even know that I've seen highlight videos on Twitter, and I don't think I'm seeing them anymore. I don't know that they exist.
I didn't know it. I guess they were playing a doubleheader today. I didn't know that, but
sure didn't.
Cool. I couldn't tell you if they won or lost. So
nope.
Ed's tired of Reds talk, so we'll continue with the rule changes.
Right. So the rule changes were bigger bases, which, whatever, that doesn't do anything for me one way or the other. I don't care. If it means less injuries, sure.
I don't know. Does it like shorten it probably like minimally shortens the length between bases though, right?
I imagine it probably also lengthens or like the height of the base, right? To which you could potentially jam your hand in. So I think everyone's going to be wearing those gloves.
Yeah,
I don't know why
the Billy Hamilton glove.
I don't know why anybody's not wearing those gloves at this point. But so that rule doesn't really do much for me. The rule about basically the no shift rule, where you have to have two fielders on either side of second base, and both of them have to have their feet in the dirt. This one is this is the biggest change that they voted upon. I'm torn how to feel about this. I don't know how to feel about it, because I'm kind of a traditionalist, but I don't know. How do you feel about it, Jeff? You played baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of when they move, like, you know, bring an outfielder in and then put like everybody between, that picture that goes around of everybody between like first and second. I don't like that. I don't like the drastic, crazy shifts. I just don't. Whatever. I think that like the shifting kind of, you didn't get to see as many crazy, infield, these like athletic infield plays. Sure, they were still happening, but when you got guys that are moved over and they have to take like half a step to field a ground ball that maybe the second baseman would have to go deep in the hole and dive back to get.
Your Brandon Phillips like highlight reels were gone.
Like your Ozzie Smith, like we grew up with like Barry Larkin, Ozzie, like that, those kinds of like the one-handed play that Ozzie Smith made with the ball, like when he's going towards like behind second base and he has to reach back over his head because the ball kicks off a rock, and it was on Twib a lot. That's This Week in Baseball for young folks. That was a cool thing to watch back in the day. So like I think those things have gone away, and maybe
web gems.
Right, and maybe there will be web gyms turned into just outfielders diving, which I mean still cool, but I like infield play, and so like I think some of that has gone away, and maybe we'll see some of it coming back. I don't know how much I like the have to have both feet on the dirt in the infield.
It's a little odd, right? You can't even play deep.
I guess if they're gonna start these rules, they're gonna start them and make them strict, and then maybe as some things work out, and they're like, okay, well maybe you can be a couple steps in. I guess at that point, how do you measure how far out a guy can be into the grass? So you got to say like he's got to have.
You'd end up with like a dotted line down from the second field base down through center field.
So then who's to say that the Reds don't decide like, hey, we're gonna make the infield, we're gonna stretch the dirt in the infield 4 extra feet.
We didn't even get to the last rule. It's the lightning round. It's the lightning round. Maybe throw that last rule. Now you have something to talk about in the lightning round, Jeff. The last rule that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
First
in there somewhere. It's just pushing sound effects.
He's so mad. That's supposed to be the end of the.
Yeah, that's it. He cut the lightning round off.
Bengals at Dallas -7.5. The Bengals are favored at Dallas. Dak Prescott's out. You taking the spread, or how you feeling about this game?
Oh, I think the Bengals are going to treat Dallas the same way that the Bearcats treated Kennesaw State. So
fair enough. Ed?
Yep.
What was that?
Something flew in front of my screen. Just again.
I got the spread as well. Bengals winning in Dallas, and I'm taking 7.5 points. That one.
Yeah, that's everyone that was just listening in their car. That's on me. I hit the wrong button. That's on me. I apologize.
Very loud.
I was doing so good.
Ed, you got something here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just got a message from the Cincinnati Reds, and they wanted us to announce this live on the show. Good friend of the show, Caleb, is being inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame for catching 7 home runs in one season. Will be inducted by Zach Hampel, and also sponsored by Khan's Hot Dogs. So congratulations to Caleb, Cincinnati sports super fan. You did it, bud. You did it.
All right.
Queen Elizabeth died, and there have been the internet's a terrible place.
It's a horrible place.
I don't know how to feel about any of this. Just ragging on an old lady for dying. It's absurd. The America gaining independence from Britain jokes are plenty. There's so
Well, did you hear
much.
the big news that came out right after her death?
Oh God.
Donald Trump put out a statement, said that the throne was stolen by the new king,
All right.
and he has proof.
Where's the buzzer?
Oh, sorry, you go ahead and finish your.
That's it. The dirty hit by TJ Watt on Joe Burrow. Did you guys see it? And do you think it was a dirty hit?
I think it was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. I don't know if it was dirty.
I mean, maybe with like he wasn't even near the play. Like
You have to go out of your way to crack the quarterback in
the
ribs.
appendix.
Well, and I doubt that's going through his head at that point in time. Like,
I know.
I'm gunning for his appendix. Of course,
Well, he
it
doesn't
happens
have
to
one
be.
anymore.
Well, of course, it happens to be where he had his appendix removed.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that part.
I don't know. I think if you're going to hit somebody on that play, the quarterback is protected at any other point in the game. Why isn't he protected against these cheap hits by defensive players trying to get a lick in this instance after they throw a pick, as if they're going to, they should get truck sticked if they're trying to make the tackle by the guy with the ball. It doesn't need to be by TJ Watt.
On a blind side.
Ed, you got some pictures this week, yeah?
Why is this a topic? But yes, I did happen to win some really cool pictures of Oscar Robertson out
That's
of his.
why it's a topic.
All right, then. I thought I was gonna get made fun of again.
No.
Out of his personal collection. One of them being that iconic splits rebound. So that'll be pretty sweet to hang up in the basement. And then one of them also is a picture of him at, I don't know if it's at the unveiling of his statue at UC, but he's definitely next to it, and it definitely looked like it's a like a presentation or something like that. So
how many pictures? Was it like 8 or something? 9?
10 or something like that. Yeah.
Are
Now,
they signed?
Nah, none of them are signed.
Are they actually developed off his film, or are they replica pictures?
No, they're developed photos. I pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, I just didn't know if they were just prints, just photocopied or something on nice paper, or if they're actually developed from film.
Yeah, it looks like it's on photo paper. So
okay, that's
And
why it
then
was a topic. I wasn't making fun of you.
yeah, I got it for $8. So I mean, $8, pretty cool pictures to hang up in the basement. Not bad.
You could probably turn it around for 80 to some of those diehard Bearcats fans.
I mean, there's some Bucks pictures I won't hold on. Of him playing for the Bucks that I won't hold on to. But so if anybody's interested, let me know. Might be able to sell them for 20.
You just told everybody you paid essentially $1 for each one of them.
Inflation.
Now we're making fun of you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
You're
fair.
trying to hawk your pictures, trying to hawk your eBay finds.
That's fair.
At the end of the podcast.
No,
I don't
that's
think that's a
fair.
section.
I understand,
There-
but I just
there's
again
no-
want to congratulate Caleb for making it into the Reds Hall of Fame. I heard they were going to put a display right next to the 4192 balls. There's a display there that has all of Pete Rose. Well, it's not all of the game used balls, but there's 4,192 balls on the wall. I think they were going to put 7 next to that and a picture of Caleb. So congratulations to him again.
I'm not even going to do anything further. Just go ahead and end the lightning round.
You're training like a damn bum, you know that? Bum. A bum. You're a bum. And that's all you'll ever be. A bum.
Well, that hurts, man.
All right, I'm going to take this one since I didn't have a lightning round.
This is
The
horrible.
bum of the week
This is horrible.
is a video that has been circulating of a grown woman vomiting on the
Not even grown. That's someone's grandma.
vomiting on the back of a young child in a neck brace at the Bengals game. Have some decency. You grab a popcorn bucket, something. Don't throw up on the back of a young child probably taking in their first Bengals game in a neck brace. I realized
can't
the
I find
product
the
on
video
field
anymore?
wasn't great, but she probably had it taken down all across the internet.
Oh my god.
It's horrible. If you want to find it, it's been retweeted by lots of. Okay, Ed's got it. He'll probably show it here on the YouTube version of this. So if you want to,
if you have a weak stomach, fast forward about a minute.
Yeah, turn away from it. I don't know how long it's going to take for Ed to get it up, but
I got it right here.
Okay.
No audio though. This poor lady, this poor kid.
She's like, "Oh, I don't feel real good," and then there it is.
And nobody notices until the second puke, and then this guy in the orange shirt notices, and he looks over and just goes, "Oh, it sucks." And doesn't even say something to his buddy next to him, like, "Hey, man, you're about to get puked on." Like, because a kid can't turn around. Is that a woman? I don't know.
I don't know if it's a.
Wait a minute, did that guy have his pants down? Hold on. The guy who just walked by her. What's up with his pants? Are they gone? Like, are they down?
He's got a shirt tied around his waist.
Oh, okay, I thought there was something else in this video that we didn't get to point out.
That might not be a child. That actually might be a grown woman in a neck brace. Either way, it's someone in a neck brace, and this lady's just like,
definitely.
She's all of it. And her purse is underneath.
I was going to say, she's puking on her stuff underneath the seat.
And have you noticed her shirt? Like, it's 2 handprints on her chest. Like,
this. Oh man, it just gets worse every time you watch it.
I'm taking it down.
Yep, thanks. All right, so that's the bum of the week.
All right, Ed, did you watch wrestling this week?
No, I was fixing a fence.
All right. Oh,
Chad, do you disagree with anything else?
I disagree with Ed not watching wrestling every week.
I had all plans of doing it, and then the guy called and said he was coming this week to do the fence. So I had a lot of stuff I had to get done.
Ed, that was a golden opportunity to hit Chad with the bomb, end his segment, and just move on.
No, that would have been a bad idea because the music's turned up all the way. There would have been cars wrecking on the road, wrecking.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at Part of the
We'll talk in the after show about a lot of responsibility, Ed.
That's another episode in the books.
That's not my responsibility. I turned down the music this week.
Again, I hope you're enjoying our new format. It's different. It is different, as we didn't even get anything about the pitch.
wrap this thing up.
That's maybe the funniest thing you've done, Ed. I was going to say.
For Ed Mayhall, for Jeff Howell, for Chad Brendel, I'm Aaron Smith. That's another episode of PTP, and we're out.
Once we get a time and date, we'll let y'all know.
Bye.